It's the Down Beach Buzz podcast for October 9, 2025 with Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty. Buy, sell, commercial, residential, Ventnor, Margate, Longport, Brigantine, Lower Chelsea, our favorite new area. Reach out to Sherry Lilienfeld at eXp Realty. Go to realtysherry.com. And Paul Scollage, he's the man that supports us from rate.com. Get a rate quote, refinance. Talk money with Paul Scollage, why don't you? Go to rate.com. Sherry, I think it's time for some market stats. We're deep into the fall. And are we seeing a better market, a hot market, seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Let me bring up your slides here. Hold on one second. Let's see here. It's right here. How's that?
Thank you. It's a good market. The market's moving at a good pace. We're actually, compared to the inventory, almost trending towards a seller's market, meaning there aren't enough homes to deal with the demand. So let's just go through some top line stats. And right now I'm just talking about the single family homes. For my stats, when I discuss them, I don't want to combine numbers because, as you know, condos are price point much lower than single family homes. So this is just an overview of the single family home market in Margate, Ventnor, and Longport. So right now there's 55 homes on the market that's single family homes. And that's been pretty consistent. We've been in the mid 50s for months now. It's like that seems to be our stabilized market number for the single family home market in Margate. What was interesting to me is the median price was down. So just to remind everyone what a median price is, that means there's an equal number of homes above and below that number. So it's like if you drew a graph and put all the homes on a graph, it's like right in the middle. And the reason I like median price over average price is when you only have 55 homes, if you average them out, but you have a home that's like 15 million, like we do in Ventnor, there's a home that's 15.5 million and there's another one that's 14 million, that's going to skew the average. So median actually for our number of houses gives us a better number, but our median price is down by a lot. That's a big jump down. And that's encouraging to me because what that's saying is there's much more homes that are 2 million or less, or 2.2 million. And from the previous podcast, I say that we need more homes less than 2 million because that's where a lot of the buyers are. I don't know. Did you have any questions, John?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you the question that's still no answer. How many first-time home buyers have come into Margate over the past quarter?
Look, I don't see all the buyers that come in, but I don't personally have any first-time home buyers. What I have are people that have been looking to buy. They've been renting. They want to buy, and pre-pandemic even, and they were like, oh, I'll wait for the prices to come down. Well, now they realize prices aren't coming down. They need to really, if they want to buy something, they need to come up with more money to actually buy something. So why? What would be your guess?
How many young families are moving into Margate? That's another way of asking that same question. How many young families are moving into Margate as a first-time home buyer? And does Margate need that? Or should it be nothing but, $5 million vacation homes?
Yeah, I don't see a lot of young families moving into the area. Where they do move, and I know your point is that when there are businesses, you need, and well, actually from the school standpoint, we have these schools. So who's going to these schools? The classes are probably, I think, 20 to 30 students, which isn't bad. But I mean, we still have quite a number of young people that are filling the schools, but it's not overflowing and there's not a mad rush to get in. So.
Well, there is a mad rush to get in, but from non-Margate residents, because they don't really talk about this very much, but I think that Margate for years now has been taking out of town, out of municipality students to fill some of those those growing empty seats. Do most Margate people realize that Margate takes in non-Margate students? Not that it's a bad thing, but is that a good idea to have two big schools and take students from out of the district? And you charge them about 30 grand a piece, I think, per year.
Yeah, I mean, if you need it to help cover the cost to maintain those schools, look, I think personally, I think it's a good idea because once you get rid of your schools, it's hard to get them back, right? So the anticipation is that there are going to be some other families coming in and you want to maintain your schools. Margate has really excellent schools. I moved to this area. I have 4 children that went through the Margate schools. And I moved from Radnor Township, which has one of the best schools in Pennsylvania, and found the Margate schools to be even better than that. So, I mean, I moved into this area with my family. And one of the reasons I moved here was because of the great schools. But, you know, again, I wasn't a first-time home buyer either. So I think maybe it's not fair to say first-time home buyers, but maybe young families is more of a better question because, you know, if people have their houses in Pennsylvania and then sell those homes, they, you know, so they can move here with their families like we did. So it's still a possibility. So I know you like to talk about the schools, but wait, we didn't finish my market stats. So let's get back. Anyway, the median price is down, which is good for those buyers that were waiting for things less than 3 million, you know, to buy something. And there are definitely more homes on the market under 2 million, which is encouraging. So in the last 30 days, we had 13 homes go under contract. That's a good number. Think about it. We have 55 homes on the market pretty consistently, and 13 homes went under contract. That's a good, healthy number given our inventory. So what I saw was with the under contract, which I was also very encouraged, and maybe this is probably why our median price went down, is many of those under contracts were actually the $3, $4, and $5 million homes that have been sitting for a while and maintaining the inventory. So I think that's also why our median price went down. But definitely some of the higher end homes went under contract in the last 30 days. So what does this tell you? You know, I love to talk about absorption rate. So what absorption rate is, it's what's your how many months supply of inventory do you have? And the way you calculate it is your total inventory by the number of homes that go under contract in 30 days. So we have 55 homes active as part of our inventory. In the last 30 days, 13 homes went under contract. So we have a 4-month supply. Between 4 and 6 months supply is what's considered a stable market. But when you get lower than 4 months, that's considered a seller's market. So we're really trending towards a seller's market again. So if you're a seller, now would be a great time to put your house on the market because there are definitely the buyers out there. They want to get into something, buy something before next season. They're probably kicking themselves for not buying something. Anyway, Ventnor. Ventnor's pretty much neck and neck with Margate. What? Oh, days on the market. So you know what? The days on the market is skewed because a lot of the homes are new construction, and new construction homes tend to be on the market a really long time. I actually saw a lot of homes that were on days on market, like close to a year. Why is that? You break ground, you know, you break ground and you put the house on the market right away. But no one's buying it based on the dirt. They wait. They tend to wait. Oh, all right, I'll get to your price reduction. They tend to wait until it's at least framed out and they can walk through it. So it depends on the house, the days on the market. So I don't really like to get into that. Price reductions. I'm so glad you asked because I actually did my deep dive into the Margate ones. And the only reason I only did Margate is it actually is a research project. I go into every single active listing and I check the history, meaning was it relisted at a different price at some point? And honestly, I was so surprised that there was a time when we were over 50% price reductions, but we are down to, it was 25%. So there's less price reduction. And that's after really looking into it, seeing things that relisted. So we're not doing a lot of price reductions. So that means people are coming out at a very competitive price in their listing price. I check the sale price to list price, and we're about 96%, which again is another indication that our pricing is really what the market is asking, what the market will bear. So yeah, all great questions. So thank you, Mr. Down Beach Buzz.
I was asking, as part two of the question is, do some of the sellers, some of the home sellers, do you think they're providing incentives to buyers, whether it's helping them buy down the mortgage or closing costs or upgrades? Do you guys even track that as real estate agents? Do you guys track that? Is it possible to track that here in the Margate, Ventnor area?
The only way you really track that is by having a good relationship with a listing agent who would share with you that information. It's not public information. It's not something we talk about. It's not the only thing that's listed in the MLS after something is sold is something called seller's concession. That's the only way we legitimately know. And again, that depends on the listing agent actually putting it in there. I mean, and I say that because sometimes I find things that go in not all the information gets in there as it should. So again, there is a field called seller concessions, but it all depends on whether it's completed or not. So the only way
you're saying, Miss Lilienfeld of EXP, sometimes that box that's called seller concessions doesn't get filled out. Is that a penalty for the realtor, or is that just oopsie, didn't fill that area out?
The reason why I say maybe sometimes that doesn't get filled out, like a lot of offices have an admin that's changing the status of a listing from under contract to sold. And if you don't do it all the time, like it's not a standard field that you're constantly filling out, it could, in my opinion, could be just a real oopsie, like, oh, wow, I never did that before. Oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to fill that out and look for the addendum on the contract that talked about it or whatever. Like when they close it out on the multiple listing service that syndicates to all these sites like Zillow and everything, they're looking for the date of the contract, the date it closed, if there was a mortgage, what it closed for, and when it's closing. Those are the fields that they use to close it out. That seller's concession is something that it's not common. So I think it is more an oopsie, a training issue.
Where does that get recorded? At the municipal level, county level, state level?
It's on the closing sheet. When you go to closing, it's like your spreadsheet of seller side, buyer side. Does the municipalities look at that? No, because the seller's concessions usually considered like points towards your mortgage or something like that. It's not really considered part of your price. So
you know what I'm getting at. I'm just wondering.
I do.
Just let me let all the people know why I asked that question, because when you try to get comps or comparables to find out the true value of a home, maybe it's going to be near the house that you're building or thinking about buying. Wouldn't you want to make sure that you know exactly what the comps were? And where would you find the real value of that home? Is it just what it was contracted? Did all those forms get filled out? Because there could have been mortgage rate buy downs, there could have been upgrades, there could have been closing cost assist, all kinds of stuff to make sure the comp stays high, but the transaction number is lower. And what's more important, you would much rather have the actual recorded price get recorded, the actual, at the end of the day, because you're going to pay taxes on that. So you got to get that accurate, because the towns are okay with that, because you're going to be taxed on the big number. But in reality, you got like $250,000 worth of help. So that doesn't get recorded, really. And then, of course, what happens then? Your insurance is going to be based on full replacement value. So you're getting hosed both ways. So just to let people know that Margate is still incredibly valuable, obviously, but some of the numbers some of these folks pull out of their hindquarters, you're paying stupid money, inflated money, and the towns don't care because they're taxing you on the bigger number. So in closing, find out truly what that house is worth, and it needs to be disclosed, and you need all that data. Somebody could have got $100,000 worth of upgrades that didn't get recorded at the county level. I'll get off my soapbox, Sherry Lillienfeld.
It's definitely very, very gray, and it's very hard to get your finger on it. And yes, there's a lot of benefits to sellers. So if it's like new construction, the seller now pays the transfer tax. So let's say it's a $3 million house. That's a lot of money. So it's to their benefit actually to keep that price down as the recorded price down, because you get so many of these, the mansion tax and realty transfer tax, that are so high. And then also from the buyer side, their taxes are based on that price. So it's to both their benefit to keep that number lower, unless, of course, you're selling multiple things like multiple townhomes and you want to set a baseline for the others to be sold. One of the things I noticed, like with new construction, is there's a base price for that new construction. But then once it's in contract, the buyer and the builder, they do their own stuff with upgrades and change orders. And, one of the deals I recently did, it was about 10%. The price was 10% more after you add in all those upgrades. But again, who's keeping track? It's very gray. It's very hard to find out. You do have to ask some questions. Hopefully you'll get the right answer, but it's something to keep in mind. Anyway, back to my slide.
Yeah, let me bring that over here. And when you want, Sharon, just bring us up to speed on how you and your neighbors are looking forward to the looming reval coming to Margate sometime soon, okay?
Okay, I'm not talking reval right now. Let me get through this.
All right.
So Ventnor has 56 homes. If you recall, Margate, 55 active homes on the market. So pretty close. And Ventnor's median price is a lot lower than Margate's at over $2 million. That's why some people tend to go to Ventnor, because they could get more value in Ventnor. Ventnor had 15 homes that went under contract in the last 30 days. So what that means, the absorption rate is, Ventnor is a seller's market right now. There's only a little over 3 months of inventory based on the number of homes that are being sold. Longport is so small. It's not even statistically significant, but I always just talk about it briefly. There's 8 homes on the market and only 1 went under contract in the last 30 days. But again, it's so small, such a small market. But what I do want to show, and again, the median price for Longport, again, median means equal number above or below, is 3.697. So as
Sherry?
we know, Longport, yes.
May I ask you a question, please?
Here we go. Here's the paper.
I just got the fax machine is going crazy over here ever since we went live here. Do you know why the city of Ventnor has such a low amount of inventory and it's still a seller's market in Ventnor? Do you know why?
Because, wait, why? You tell me. You tell me, mister.
So I'm
Is
just
this
asking,
a question?
I'm not trying to stump you, but why does Ventnor have such low inventory available for sale? Why is it a seller's market still in Ventnor?
Because the prices are lower. So the people that have been waiting, and like I told you, they want to spend 1 million, 1.5 million. It sounds like a lot of money, but in our market, it's on the lower end, and they can find really good values in Ventnor. So what?
I got the facts that just came in.
Okay.
And the reason why Ventnor is still a seller's market and why it doesn't have a lot of inventory is because there's over 500
Oh,
short-term rentals. Some of them are registered, some are not. Some are following the rules of having a 3-night minimum, some are not. And there's an awful lot of property managers in Ventnor. That means people aren't even showing up, keeping an eye on their place. Do you know that Ventnor right now, there's one particular company, a property manager company, that has 49 Ventnor properties they keep an eye on.
so you're saying the investors are driving the Ventnor market because they're able to get their short-term rentals.
Well, in the words of my good friend Lance Landgraf, the councilman or commissioner of Ventnor, he says these short-term rentals, STRs, are commercial properties operating in a residential zone. But for some reason, it does affect the real estate market. These are zombie homes right now, and they make so much money selling, 15 weekends in the summer. But some of them, I'm just saying that's why I think, because Longport is more loosey-goosey, and Margate has approximately 170 short-term rentals. That means they're on Airbnb and VRBO. It's probably a lot more than that because I'm not counting realtor stuff and all that. But just a couple of weeks ago, I did a whole check on this. So Margate has approximately 170 short-term rentals on Airbnb and VRBO. Ventnor has at least 500. Atlantic City, well, I'll say that for the end. Brigantine has over 938. Longport has 16. Ocean City has 1,800. And Atlantic City has close to 2,000 short-term rentals. That has to affect everything from hotel stays to prices of homes.
That is true.
I just bring that up because that is playing with the inventory that you used to have control of, buying and selling and documenting.
I do want to also say for short-term rentals, that means something different in every municipality. Like Margate, the minimum you can rent is a week, where Ventnor, they could do a weekend, 3 days. Atlantic City's probably 1 day. What is Brigantine? That I'm not sure. Do you know how many days is that?
Brigantine is pretty fast and loose. It has at least 1,000. And once again, these numbers are just Airbnb and VRBO. It doesn't count all the other stuff that's happening privately. It doesn't count if you create your own website devoted to a whole bunch of these short-term rentals that you're managing. So these are bare minimums. And listen, I think short-term rentals are a great idea, but when they're properly managed, they're a good idea. But what's happening is you are inflating the prices of your neighborhood on business transactions, on these houses being turned into motels. They are commercial operations, and even everybody admits to it. So hopefully, Sherry Lilienfeld, I hope they're properly financed, because you can't get a personal mortgage or borrow money on a personal thing and rent your place out. You can't do that. You have to have proper commercial insurance. So, and that when you find out whether you're in Brigantine or Ventnor that you can knock down a bungalow and build a 10-bedroom, 10-bath behemoth on a beach block, it's going to drive the price up. And there's pros and cons to that, but there's more negatives, I believe, because you're chasing away families and you're chasing away employees. You're chasing away the cops and the firemen that need a place to live locally. Cops and firemen can't even live here. Too expensive. They go off island. They go offshore.
All very valid points. And to your point also is you do want to look into that when you buy something, whether there are Airbnbs on your block or next to you, because that changes your particular enjoyment of the property if there's constantly a whole bunch of people coming in and out of the house next to you and having parties and things like that. But again, every municipality has different rules for what is a short-term rental, and Margate, it's 1 week. So if there's a property near you that seems to be renting on different terms, you do need to let Margate know about it and check and report them as well, because that's changing the whole feel of the neighborhood if that's happening. Okay, so market numbers, just in general. I do want to highlight that on my website, realtysherry.com, I have market reports that you are free to download. And you go on my website, and if you go under resources and monthly market reports, you click on that and it puts you on this page, the monthly market reports. I have monthly market reports for all these cities: Atlantic City, Brigantine, Linwood, Longport, Margate, Northfield, Somers Point, and Ventnor. You can download them, you can look at them, and just to show you what these market reports look like, here's the one for Margate. It has a lot of information, but I do want to highlight this is single family condos, townhomes, and townhouses all combined. So these numbers are going to be different than the ones that I review, because I just talk about single family homes. But like if you look at a key detail here, sold to list price percentage, which is underneath the two bars on the top, it's 96.6%. That's pretty good. Like that means that our list price, our asking price, we're getting very close to that. But there's all kinds of numbers. This goes all the way back to July of 2008. I mean, it gives a trend. You could see where things spiked, but all kinds of different numbers. This is median list price. This is median sold price. But again, this go back in time so you can see trends. This is median sold price versus sold listings. There's all kinds of numbers in here. Market snapshot, how things have changed in the last 12 months, the last 24 months, last 36 months. Overall numbers, there's just a lot of great information. Average price per square foot. A lot of people ask me that. This is the 10 new properties breakdown. Just all kinds of closed properties, all kinds of information you can get from the market reports on my website. So just letting you know, you don't have to wait for our podcast to get some good market information. You go right to my website, realtysherry.com. And hold on, I'm just getting to the front page. Oops. What happened? Sorry. Anyway, realtysherry.com, and you can download these market reports for the town of your interest.
All right, you all set?
I'm all set. I just wanted to share that with everyone. And I'm happy to do a custom market report for people as well.
Okay. I thought I would let you know that the DownbeachBUZZ has updated its front page, and Club Wyndham, the condos in Atlantic City, is shutting down. Can you believe that? Everybody knows where this is. It's steps away from resorts. This beautiful building, they're shutting down. A 32-story tower on North Carolina Avenue, about 300 luxury 1- and 2-bedroom condos. And why are they getting out of Atlantic City? They wanted to cut costs and right-size its portfolio. Atlantic City was not worth holding on to, obviously. What's going on, Cher? We're losing all this inventory. These are condos, beautiful condos in a great location. I wonder why they can't make a go of it. You don't have to answer that question. That's more rhetorical. But we also have, I think, a real estate group that's going to take over. It's South Park Realty and Butters. And everyone, I have some great video here of how to be a real estate agent, what the skills are needed to be a real estate agent. And you may want to check that out. We also have other information about interviewing multiple agents, making sure if you're trying to sell your place, make sure that real estate agent trying to pitch your business isn't trying to buy the listing. Know what a dual agent is, what a dual agency is, what's double dipping commissions. Cartman from South Park Realty, one of my favorite realtors, can explain all that stuff. It'll make you a smarter home buyer or a home seller. Oh, and Sheriff, if I could, this is George Norcross, and he's in the boxing match with Vince Palestina, our senator. Have you seen this video of Mr. George Norcross and George, trying to take a swing at Mr. Palestina? You like that?
That's very good.
And it's real. They were on the radio yesterday. George Norcross, a Democratic power broker, very smart, very aggressive man. And he beat the crap out of Senator Vince Palestina. And I don't mean that in a mean way, but it was on the radio. And you say to yourself, who let Mr. Palestina go on to a debate with an unelected opponent live on the radio, especially a guy like Norcross? That guy didn't let up on him for 2 hours. Norcross brutalized New Jersey the senator, Vince Palestina. Got some good audio here. There they are, like some beautiful photographs. That's George on the left, and that's Vince Palestina on the right. Oh, this is the on-air host of that debate on the far left, Mr. Chronic. And the far right, that is one of my good friends, Gary Hill. He's a part of the MBCA. And you know who these are, right, Cher?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
Claire Swift and Don Gordon.
Is she always goofing off like that? Whenever she sees a camera going?
Did you do that with AI? Do that.
Yeah, it's AI. That is pretty good, though, isn't it?
Can't trust anything.
I know, it's great. But listen to one couple of seconds of George Norcross on the radio with Vince Palestina, New Jersey Senator Mr. Palestina, yesterday. I can't believe they even went on the air and did this for 2 hours. Here's a little sample for you.
Okay. All right. Vince Palestina and George Norcross, we're going to move on.
And Vince, if you're going to pick a fight with somebody, pick a fight with somebody you can beat. You couldn't hold Denny Levinson's jockstrap. Don Guardian thinks you're a buffoon and an embarrassment. You know what? The more I think about it, I think I really want you to be the candidate for re-election as Republican, not Don Guardian, because you're so vulnerable on so many fronts in a primary. Do you think these towns are granting you these no-bid, pay-to-play contracts because you're the greatest engineering firm on the planet? You got patronage contracts for your vote. You got positions and deals that you made with the administration. Don Guardian thinks you're a buffoon and an embarrassment. So you sold your soul as a rent-a-senator. You voted for higher taxes, higher spending.
I can't handle it. It was brutal. I don't want to beat up on Vince that much because Mr. Norcross, he did it yesterday. I can't believe they did that on the air for 2 hours. And you know how that debate got on the air at WOND yesterday, Cher, WOND radio? They challenged each other a few months ago, Norcross and Senator Palestina. Norcross is not an elected guy. Vince Palestina is. I don't know why he thought it'd be a good idea to debate Norcross on the radio. And to do the debate, Norcross said, I'll chip in $20,000 to a charity. And Vince did $5,000. That's how they did it. They had $25,000 to do this on-air thing, this debate. And Mr. Norcross took advantage of that investment of $20,000 and just brutalized Senator Palestina. So I narrowed down the 2 hours to about a half hour here on Down Beach Buzz, and it's uncomfortable what is said about Mr. Palestina. It's pretty nasty. I'm surprised they did this. I'm surprised OND let this happen because it did not make Mr. Palestina look good. There's a lot of accusations. It's nasty, but I don't know what to say. Sure, I'm not always in agreement with Mr. Palestina, but 2 hours of letting somebody say horrible things to you on the radio?
Very dirty.
Yeah,
Very dirty.
He's got some cojones, man, Mr. Norcross. Anyway, yeah, that is AI, and that's a scary thing when you see that AI can create an image like that. But this does tell you what exactly it was. These guys were in the ring punching each other in the face verbally. Crazy. All right. Was there anything else, Cher?
I think we're good.
Are you going to go to this show, the Totally Tubular Festival with Flock of Seagulls, Bow Wow Wow, Romantics, Thomas Dolby, Tommy Two-Tone? You going?
That's not my vibe.
Name one band, one song from this slide. What would you say? Just name one.
No.
Totally Tubular Festival, featuring a flock of seagulls, Men Without Hats, Thomas Dolby, The Romantics, Bow Wow Wow, and Tommy Two-Tone. Saturday, December 27th, Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort. Get tickets now at theoceanac.com.
I'm more of a classic rock.
I know. All right. Just tell people how they can find you and why they should hire Sherry Lilienfeld.
Well, they call my cell phone 609-277-1795 or realty.com. And they should find me because I'm tenacious to get the facts so they can make educated decision on true value in terms of either making an offer or listing a property. Even though we mentioned before, it's very hard to get those details. I will be like a pit bull in trying to find those details to make an educated decision because you do need all that information.
All right. Thanks, Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty. Go to DownbeachBUZZ.com. Sign up for our email newsletter, DownbeachBUZZ.com. Okay? Very good. Say goodbye.